You have to start, because otherwise you won't see us.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Bobby. How are you?
Hello? Hello?
Look in the other screen.
Block.
Doesn't say anything.
And what's it, the next one?
It's three little dots. Click on it.
I think they muted.
Read the three little.
Hello, kid.
I can't see what it's there. Yeah, there's something turning there. No, something's happening.
Dad, hold on.
If I hear one more word from him,
If you, the whole of the world will go.
Hey, can you both just chill, please?
Yeah, it's true.
everything's no.
Hi, Matthew.
He's muted.
Hey, Whitney.
I need the
And let
content.
it run because it's slow. As long as where's the little turning wheel?
It's not turning.
Stand by it. You got this. Where's my mouse go? In the back, so you don't know.
I think it should be me. Oh, really? But Mom's holding the mic, so
Guys, just do not touch this mic. Just put
bottom right, yeah.
Micropause.
Let's go back and go watch stay home.
tohu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tohu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Here we go. Ya na 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 na. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya na 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 na. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. All right, folks in the sanctuary, let's really hear it. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. All right, very good. Folks who are at home, let's really hear it. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Very
shalom.
good. It feels strange to be speaking to your camera. We are here at Temple Emanu-El, and it is a beautiful, rainy morning. Beautiful morning if you live in Scotland, I think. Otherwise, it's wet. But, Sarah, I think this is a way of raining blessings down upon you and your family and everything that we're doing today, not just for a Shabbat morning Shakri service, but the uplift, Sarah, that you give everyone around you, not just your own family, Dainu, that would be enough, and not just the folks who are here in our sanctuary, again, Dainu, that would be enough, but the entire community, and certain theologies would insinuate the world, that you literally are uplifting the world with what you're doing this morning, which is leading us in prayer, showing us that you are a leader in your own right, and helping us to connect. And that's the real benchmark for this morning. Can you, in these moments, and these next 90 minutes, as you go from being a Jewish girl to a Jewish woman, pow, can you connect to something higher? And that's not just for Sarah, it's all of us. Can you connect to your ancestors? Can you connect to your parents? Can you connect to the Torah, to your soul, to God? That's where we are right now, in a very thin place and time where we are able to do it with joy. With joy. So friends, we're using this red siddur for those of you who are present, okay? And this has 3 different parts to it. If you look on the right, it's the Hebrew. You open up any page. On the far left, you'll find English. In the middle, you're going to find transliteration. For folks who are at home, the Facebook page has the service pinned to it, and you can participate that way. So this is a touchy-feely service, both for those who are on the bema and those of us who are down here, as we're able to do, which means that claps and snaps and taps and la-la-las are highly encouraged. We are a small but mighty group, which means our energy down here is going to go up to Sarah, and she, like a mirror, is going to reflect it back to us. So the more we give, the better this is for all of us, and Sarah particularly. Some introductions, of course, Sarah Menace, our bat mitzvah this morning, Rabbi Max Miller, I'm Rabbi Spike Anderson. You all just kind of lean across and say hi and Shabbat Shalom to the people around you, if you would. If you're online, give a shout out to Sarah and family, a Shabbat Shalom, a Mazel Tov. It is so good to be together. Page 3.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.
So a word about the physical setup for those who are at home and can't quite see it. We have Sarah and her family up on the bema, and they are unmasked because they are a pod. And then 20 to 30 feet away, we have the about 20, 25 guests who are participating in the service. They are separated by their pods and masks, and that's for us to be safe. And then we have Rabbi Max and I, who are a good 30 feet away from everybody else, and also on mass, and that is to be the distance is what keeps us safe. Also on Zoom, folks on Zoom, give a wave to Sarah. We've got Sarah's friends and family and fans on Zoom on a camera, so she can see them. How cool is this, right? Plus, we have all the folks on YouTube and on Facebook, so that's really important. Sarah, in the next 90 minutes, as you go through this rite of passage of going from being a Jewish girl in the eyes of the community to a Jewish woman in the eyes of community, there are signposts along the way. There's recognizable landmarks, as it were. One of them is the talit. Now, according to tradition, the month before your bat mitzvah, the day before, the hour before even, you're not allowed to publicly wear it. You can wear it, but not publicly. But in a moment, we're going to ask your grandfather, Arnold Menace, to come on up to the choir mic. So Arnold, you can come on up now. And he's going to do the presentation of the talit as an outward sign of you becoming an adult in the Jewish community.
Sarah, it's my privilege to present you with a special talit today because it is passed on to you from my father, your great-grandfather, known as Papa. As this talit is draped around your shoulders, may the voices of the generation speak to you. May you know that there is a people, a rich heritage to which you belong, a sacred place from which you are connected to all who dwell on earth. As you are embraced in the folds of the talit, so too are you wrapped in the loving embrace of your family, community, and this holy congregation. May the simplest of garments always be for you a symbol of God's abiding and sheltered presence. As you recite the blessing and wrap yourself in this talis, we proudly watch and celebrate with you as you accept your place in the chain of our tradition.
Beautiful. And now, Sarah, you're going to read the blessing for the Talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lehitatef b'atzitzi.
We all say Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Michael and Lauren, will you wrap your daughter in the Talit and fix her hair? And Sarah, your arms come to the outside. There you go, the outside. Now, Daniel, will you sneak in there so you're all kind of attached somehow, okay? Friends, we know that families and communities come together for all sorts of reasons. Some of them sad. This one, super happy. Super, super happy. And when we Jews are experiencing sacred time, as we are now, we recite Shehechianu. Literally, thank God that we're here, we're breathing together. May we have this type of simcha, this type of holiness, again and again and again. Page 5, please join us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higiyanu b'zman hazeh.
Okay, now family, take a step back just to give her a little breathing room. Sarah, you're going to begin by leading us on page 6 with the reading.
God be with me in my bat mitzvah. Help me make meaningful the covenant you now establish with me. Sustain me with a sense of holiness, inspire in me a desire to be special. I do not ask that you make my life easy, resolve my problems, map out the directions of my life. I only ask that you strengthen within me the desire to mold and shape my life in accordance with your will. In this hour of my bat mitzvah, I invoke your blessing upon my parents and friends, and all who have loved and cared for me and have brought me to this time of gladness. Give them joy and fulfillment in my growth and my achievement. You who turn the hearts of children to their parents and the hearts of parents to their children.
Okay. And with that intention, we get ready for our Nasim B'chol Yom on page 7, our daily miracles. So, Sarah, the tradition has it that we express ourselves on Shabbat morning with these miracles, and each of them that you're going to chant in a moment, and we'll respond with an Amen, is meant to be taken both literally and figuratively. So, for instance, when it says, blessed are you, God, who has opened the eyes of the blind, right? It could be referring to somebody who now has sight through medicine or surgery or really just out of the blue, but also figuratively that there are people, including us sometimes, who are blind, and it is miraculous when we are able to finally see. So for everybody who's here and present and everybody who is online, as Sarah is going through, take a look at the translation on the left and see which one of these daily miracles has your name on it. Which one of these is calling you this morning? Sarah, whenever you're ready, page 7.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lesech vivina, lehavhin ben yom uvein laila.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, brokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitadei gaver.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten la'ef koach.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hame'evir shenai me'enai u'numa me'af hapar.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shesani Tselem Elohim.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bat chori.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer Yisrael bigvara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirisanu b'mitzvotah v'tzivanu la'asot b'divrei Torah.
Amen. Okay, let's take a second. And Lauren and Michael, I'll ask you first, if you want to step up and grab a microphone, just take a step towards Sarah so we can see you better.
Okay.
Any one of these in particular really speaking to you this morning?
I'll go. I like the one about the mind and the instinct within every living being, because that gives each of us a power that we use, and that's how we get through life and do amazing things.
Yeah.
That's what speaks to me.
Michael?
Well, you closed the book on me, but I like the one about picked up those who have fallen. So I think now more than ever, those that are less fortunate need support.
A metaphorical fallen, right?
Yeah.
That people fall, and what is it that the miraculousness that allows us to get up and keep going, right? Anybody in our live sanctuary want to share? Okay, and as you're all looking intently as if I might call on you, Sarah, page 13, please lead us responsibly, which means that when we see italics, that all of us join in.
May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit indifference, selfishness, and harshness.
May the synagogue be
For all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We rise for Baruch Hu, page 15, meaning we're warm, we're ready, we are eager, hineni. Here we go.
That's not the right one. That's Bichavocha.
It is. Also joyous.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Amevorah.
We all bow. Here we go.
Baruch Adonai Amevorah Amevorah Leolam Vaed Amevorah Amevorah Leolam Vaed.
So, Sarah, in a moment, you're going to lead us on page 15 with Yotzer Or. Yotzer Or is the prayer which celebrates, talks about, expresses gratitude for creation. Now, gratitude for the one-time creation, that's pretty hard to do. Maybe we can do it once in a while. But one-time creation, okay, the whole world is here. But really, Yotzer Or talks about, Sarah, creation every day, that every day that you wake up, we are celebrating with this prayer the chance that you can recreate yourself, your environment, and the world around you with the choices that you make, with the choices for how you speak to the people around you, how you act, how you treat, what you care for, what you stand up for. All of these things, with Yotzer Or, create the world anew. Will you lead us on page 15?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvarei choshech, oseh shalom uvarei et hakol. Hama'ir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim, uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit. Marabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam behochma asita mal'a ha'aretz kinyinecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shavach ma'aseh yedecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita yefa'arucha selah, or chadash al Sion te'ir v'nizke kulanu ma'aseh le'oreo. Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'orot.
Amen. And Sarah, on page 16, you'll lead us in a moment in Ahava Rabbah, which talks about God's abundant love. Now, Michael and Lauren, the abundant love that it talks about here is the abundant love that God feels for us, the Jewish people. But this, of course, doesn't exclude the abundant love that God may have for other people, right? You have 2 children. They are very different from one another. And you have abundant love, infinite love for each of them. The love you have for Sarah does not preclude at all the love for Daniel and vice versa. Matter of fact, remember the expression from Toy Story to infinity and beyond? That's the type of love that your parents have for you, Sarah, the type of love that your community has for you, and according to our tradition, the love that God feels for you as well. Would you lead us with Ahava Rabbah on page 16?
Ahava Rabbah ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu, chemla gidola v'teira chamalta aleinu, ba'avor avotenu ve'imotenu shebatchu becha, bat lamdem chuke chaim kain techonenu utlamdenu, hamrachem rachem aleinu v'tein belibenu la'avin ulhaskil lishmoa lilmod ulalamed lishmor vela asot ukayim et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha be'ahava. Baruch atah Adonai habocher ba'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
Okay, and we get our feet on the floor, feeling our feet on the floor, getting ready for the Shema. Deep breath in, hands over our eyes. Here we go.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Mahuto Le'olam Amen.
And we can be seated. Sarah, you'll lead us on page 18 in a moment with the V'ahavta, which is the second part of the Shema. And this is a prayer that asks the question through its words. The question is, when is it that we're supposed to be Jewish? When is it that we're supposed to do the right thing, to sort of keep God on the forefront of our mind? And the answers that it gives at first seem like pretty comprehensive answers. Well, when you're sitting down, when you're standing up, when you're at home, when you're on your way. In other words, always. But there's a problem here. It is very hard to do something mindfully always. It is very hard to do something mindfully always. And so the prayer is actually a reminder that we have reminders. There are reminders all around us, like your tallis, like the mezuzah on the doorpost of your house, like the Judaica in your home, like your religious school community, like your Temple Emanu-El community. There are reminders everywhere that you can do this, that you can, with a breath, orient yourself to be the very best you. Would you lead us in V'ahavta on page 18?
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבניך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ולכתך בדרך, ושכבך ובקומך, ושרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Lechem Emet. Okay, on Zoom, we're going to ask Aunt and Uncle Andrea and Jason Becker to lead us on our page 19 responsive reading, Geulah from Slavery to Freedom.
Adonai, our God, you took us out of slavery in Egypt. You made us free.
Together, you are in the courage with which we overcame 40 years of desert wandering.
Even today, you are in the hope that, like a beam of light, brightens the darkness of suffering and despair.
You are in the love that creates, protects, forgives.
Standing at the sea, we felt your goodness and your love, and we sang a new song to you. And still today, we sing that song.
We praise you, Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. Micha Mocha, page 20.
Here we go.
Micha Mocha Elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Kodesh, Narati Lo Tosei Felech, Narati Lo Tosei Felech.
Israel,
Please rise.
Huma ve'ezrat Yisrael, ufedei chilumecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
We join in singing what the Israelites proclaimed after they had successfully crossed the sea and find in their redemption the strength to seek our own. This struggle carries us into the Amidah, a prayer of becoming, of transformation, of divine human partnership that brings grace into our lives and into our world. The Amidah can be found on page 21.
Adonai sefatai tifta ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Ha'gadol Ha'gibor Ha'nora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geulah Lebnei Bneihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava.
Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Megayin Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav leHoshia. Morid hatah, Mechalkel Chaim b'Chesed. Mechayeh HaKol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofeh cholim. Umatir asurim. Umechayeh emunato l'shenei afar. Michal mochal b'gevurot. Umidom elah. Melech memim umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol.
On page 23, we're going to ask Aunt and Uncle Jennifer and Howard Greenberg to come on up. And you'll lead us in our reading responsively from page 23.
Okay. Can we take our masks off?
No.
No?
Many are the ways of holiness, varied are its paths.
There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is
holiness when we strive for harmony in all of our relationships. There is holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness.
Slow down. There is holiness when people of different backgrounds work together for a common future.
Everyone, there is holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness.
There is holiness when people create lasting poetry or song or philosophy.
There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what divides us.
Holy, holy, holy is Adonai our God.
Page 24.
לקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמרו, כך כתוב על יד ימיך, וקרא זה זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, לאלוהים כל הארץ, כבודו. Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Ma'adir, Shimcha b'chol ha'aretz, Baruch kivod Adonai, Mikomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu ve'hu Yashmienu, V'rachamav le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem
Yimloch Adonai le'olam Elohai Yixion Ledor vador Hallelujah
Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador Ledor vador Nagid Alecha
Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador Nagid Golecha Ulenetzach netzachim Kedushatecha nakish Kedushatecha nakish V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador Ledor vador Nagid Alecha
Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador
Ledor vador Ledor vador Nagid Alecha
Ki HaMelech gadol gadol v'kadosh gadol v'kadosh atah Ki HaMelech gadol gadol v'kadosh gadol v'kadosh atah Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo
Ha'el HaKadosh.
We can be seated. Sarah, will you lead us in the reading on page 25 responsively?
From of old, the Jewish people have seen Shabbat as a unique gift, a token of its covenant with God.
Shabbat is the most cherished creation of the Jewish spirit. It mirrors the essence of the Jewish soul.
Shabbat has never been merely a day of rest from labor. It has always been a break in the routine of everyday life.
Shabbat is a symbol of liberation and triumph, of the holy over the profane, of spirit over matter.
In every age, Shabbat afforded the Jew a sacred retreat, a haven of safety, a fountain of new strength and perpetual renewal.
Shabbat nurtures family life in love and harmony. A home at peace welcomes Shabbat with joy.
Shabbat is part of nature's design, the very purpose of creation. All that was created attained in fulfillment in Shabbat.
Shabbat is our hope, the calm haven where all the weary find rest. With the coming of Shabbat, redemption and peace enter the world. Yismechu, page 26.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei honeg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei honeg Shabbat. V'kadeshei, v'kadeshei shevit Shabbat. Uram yismehu v'yitagnu mitu v'chashabat. Yismehu v'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Uvashvi Vatzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, and that yami oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh v'reshit Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh v'reshit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat.
Over Zoom, we're going to ask Eileen and Mark Menace to lead us in our reading on page 27.
Our world is full of wonders and miracles, but all it takes is one little hand placed before our eyes, and we see nothing.
But miracles are all around us and within us. We are each walking miracles.
When we are bruised, what miracle heals us? When we see beauty, what miracle elevates us? When we hear music, what miracle moves us?
When we see suffering, what miracle saddens us? When we give and receive love, what miracle warms us? When we pray, what miracle renews us?
Every springtime is a miracle. Every snowflake is a miracle. The thoughts we think, the words we speak, the hopes we cherish, each is a miracle.
For all these miracles, may your name be exalted and blessed forever and ever. And then on page 28, we're going to ask Arthur and Barbara Posner via Zoom to lead us in our reading.
You're muted.
Inspire us to banish hatred, war, bloodshed, and bigotry. Help us to establish forever one human family doing your will in love and peace. Yeah, that's okay. I'm reading lips. Here we go. You have given us the power, O God, to bring peace and justice into the world. May we always love peace and pursue it, and love our fellow creatures. Fill us with kindness, wisdom, and love. Then shall we learn to live in peace. Blessed is God, teacher of peace.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Ya na 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 na. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha.
We would invite everyone to take a moment of silent prayer, reflection, meditation, communion. In that silence, what is it that you hear? Strange is our situation here on earth. Each of us has come for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to divine a purpose. From the standpoint of daily life, however, there is one thing we do know, that we are here for the sake of humanity, for the countless unknown souls with whose fate we are connected by a bond of sympathy. Many times a day, I realize how my own outer and inner life is built on the labors of my fellow human beings, both living and dead, and how earnestly I must exert myself in order to give in return as much as I have received and am still receiving.
Say shalom b'mroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
I'd invite Michael and Lauren to come on up. And on page 31, you're going to extend the parents' blessing to Sarah. These words on 31 are an amalgamation of words from the Talmud. And those sages were also parents, and it's beautiful to infuse the words they had for their children to your daughter on this most special of days.
May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come, and may you trust in generations past and yet to be.
May your heart be filled with intuition and your words be filled with insight. May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue and your vision be on a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of holy words and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom and your fulfillment be in righteousness.
A Jewish home opens its heart and its link to the generations is proclaimed. Today our child, nearly grown, is called to read from the Torah and is welcomed into the congregation.
May this moment be blessed.
Hug, hug, kiss, kiss. Friends, we rise for our Torah service, which you'll find on page 32.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai מירושלים, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato. Sarah, in just a moment, you are going to receive the Torah. Now, you've had the Torah with you because you've been studying and you've been learning, and you wouldn't be here without all of that work and that effort that you've been putting in, but now you're going to formally receive the Torah as a bat mitzvah. So I'm going to invite Daniel, would you go pick up the Torah and hold it on your shoulder. There you go. And what we are doing is we are passing down the Torah. Passing down the Torah from generation to generation. Yep, right up at the ark. There you go. Perfect. And Sarah, you stand at the end. We're passing down the Torah from generation to generation. Yep. From Daniel, who became bar mitzvah here, to Lauren, and then to Michael. But we know, Michael, as you hold this Torah, that there are generations and generations that have come before you, Sarah. Some of them are here in this room. Some we know who are in blessed memory, who we know are watching down on us, watching down on you at this very moment, and they are smiling. And as you receive the Torah, I want you to look out at the faces of everyone who's here. Now, beneath their masks, they're smiling, but you can see their eyes, and they're smiling with their eyes as well. And you can see everyone online who is joining you, smiling, beaming with pride as you receive the Torah from your Father. And together, for the first time, as you hold the Torah, we sing the words of Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai Iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachdav. You can step on down and undress the Torah. Lecha Adonai Hagidula V'Hagivura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz Lecha Adonai ha'mamlacha V'Hamitnaseh Lechol Erosh. Everyone, please be seated. Michael, Lauren, and Daniel, you can have a seat as well. As we, Sarah, begin this Torah service, you have the column with the paperclip, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. As we begin this Torah service, you do for us what the Jewish people have been doing for our family, our friends, for our communities for thousands of years. And that is to be a storyteller, to weave the stories of our people into our daily lives. And so first, we're going to hear you chant your Torah portion, and then you're going to be the person who extracts meaning from our stories, who tells us what we should learn from all of this. And so for the first Aliyah, I'd like to invite up your grandfather, Arnold Menes, Ya'amod, Azriel ben Nachman Udvora le'Aliyah Rishon.
Sarah's chanting from Vayeko Pikudei, which is Exodus 35, 1 through 12. That is not the Torah portion of the week, but we have changed this date a couple times. And we decided long ago that not just for Sarah, but all our kids who had a COVID bar bat mitzvah, we weren't going to penalize them by having them learn new things. So it's always going to be relevant, and that is our Torah portion for the morning.
Baruch Hu es Adonai HaMvorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ato Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher bo chabonu mikol ha'amim v'nosan lanu es Toraso. Baruch Ato Adonai nosein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayakel Moshe et kol Adam, Bnei Yisrael, Vayomer Alechem, Eile Ha'dvarim, Asher Siva Adonai La'asot Otam, Sheshet Yamim, Te'asem Melecha, Uvayom HaSheve'i, Yeh Lachem Kodesh, Shabbat Shabbaton L'Adonai, Kol Ha'asevo, Melecha Yomar, Lo Tva'aru Esh, B'chol Moshotechem, Vayom HaShabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Sarah, do me a favor, move the microphone closer to you. That way we will be able to hear you better. Perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you, Arnold. For the second Aliyah, verses 4 through 6, I'd like to invite upstairs Aunt and Uncle Beth and Stuart Menace. Ya'amdu Yantot Tzvia bat David v'Mashe v'Yisrael ben Ezriel v'Miriam le'aliyah shniyah.
Baruch Adonai HaBarach, Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Amim, V'natan Lanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Moshe El Kol Adat B'nei Yisrael Le'mor Deh Hadavar Asher Siva Adonai Le'mor Kechu Meitochem Teruma Adonai Kol Nediv Libo Yevieha Et Terumat Adonai V'hava Hesef Unehoshet Utechelet Ve'argaman V'tolat Shani V'shesh Beizim.
Beautiful.
Olam, Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet, B'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu, Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Amen.
All right, now it is time to invite up proud family, mother, brother, father, Lauren, Michael, and Daniel. Ya'amdu, Leah bat Cyril v'Zelda, Mordechai ben Israel v'Miriam, ben Nachman ben Mordechai v'Leah, le'aliyah shlishit.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaBarach,
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed,
Baruch Adonai HaBarach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim, V'natan Lanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Amen.
Amen. Verot Eli Me'odamim, Verot Techashim, Vatzei Shitim, Veshemen Lamaor, Uvesamim, Veshemen Hamishchai, V'litorat Hasamim, Ve'avnei Shoham, Ve'avnei Miluim, La'efod Ve'lahoshem.
Beautiful.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet, V'chayei Olam Nata B'tochenu, Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Amen.
Real hugs and kisses. All right. So now, Sarah, I'm going to have you take a seat with your family. Whichever seat you like. Yeah, that works. And so in a moment, you are going to go up to the Torah, no longer a girl, but a woman in our people, an adult, someone who will take their place in leadership and in righteousness in our community. And so now it is my pleasure to call you up to the bima as a bat mitzvah. Tamod habat mitzvah, Miriam Gittel bat Mordechai v'Leah, le'aliyah bat mitzvah.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Eta Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Eta Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
V'chol chacham lebachem, yava'u uve'asu et kol asher siva l'Adonai. Et hamishchad, et oholo, et misechu, et kirasav, et kirashav, et berihav, et amudav, et adanav, et ha'aron, et badav, et hakaporet, et parahet hamasach.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Okay, I'm going to ask everyone to rise, please, and Mom and Dad come right back over. And I'd love for you to have a hand on each of Sarah's shoulders. So we, Sarah, are going to give you a special Misha Barak blessing for your continued spiritual development, with the hope that today acts as a spiritual cornerstone for you to look back on, to find your bearings, and to push off on, to take you wherever it is that you're going to go on your Jewish journey. Misha Barak, Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, Uyavarech et Miriam Gittel bat Mordechai v'Leah shehagia lemitzvot la'Allah l'Torah Hakadosh Baruch Hu yismeireha v'chayeha v'chonen et liba liyot shalem im Adonai Eloheha lagot b'Torato lalecha b'drachav v'mishmor mitzvotav v'timsechen v'seichel tov v'enei Elohim v'adam v'nomar
Amen.
O God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Sarah, who's come up from Aliyah upon the age of mitzvot. May the Holy One guard you and sustain you, helping you to be wholehearted in your faith, studying God's Torah, walking in God's ways, and fulfilling God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God and all people, and we say, Amen. We can be seated.
All right, and actually, Michael and Lauren, if you'll stay up and help Sarah with rolling up the Torah. And you can put the belt underneath and put the cover on top of it. No worries. Very good. Thank you very much. You can have a seat now. All right, Sarah, so you have been our storyteller now, and now it's time for you to take your place as one of the most treasured positions in the Jewish people, and that is of a teacher. And we all are teachers in our lives at certain points, and now is your turn for the first time in front of your community as an adult to teach us from your Torah portion as you read for us your Devar Torah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My Torah portion is via Kale from the book of Exodus. In my Torah portion, Moses is at the base of Mount Sinai with the commandments that God has just given him. This is about a year and a half after the Jews escaped slavery in Egypt. Moses gathers all of the Israelites together and starts to tell them what God has said. He then goes over the specific commandment about the Shabbat, clearly stating that no work shall be done on that day. After that, Moses starts telling them about a portable sanctuary, Mikdash, also known as the tabernacle, Mishkan, that God has tasked them with building. This would be a place where they could experience God's presence even after leaving Mount Sinai. On every Shabbat, however, the Israelites were not allowed to work on the tabernacle or anything else. Moses asked for them to donate supplies to build the tabernacle. The supplies were not mandatory, but in a way, tzedakah. Moses then appointed the artists Bezalel and Oholab to oversee the building of the tabernacle. At no time, the supervisors told Moses that the Israelites were giving more supplies than needed, and Moses told them to stop. The tabernacle was then built according to design that God had given Moses. Everyone in the community contributed to the Mishkan, and those with special skills used them, whether they were silversmiths or woodcarvers. This brought everybody together. If they did this right, they were told that God's presence would dwell amongst them. In my opinion, the lesson in my Torah portion is that everybody needs rest. On Shabbat, we are able to rest. But why is resting on Shabbat so important? Well, when we rest on Shabbat, we are able to take a break from all of the struggles of life. Shabbat has been important all throughout history. The Israelites used it as a time to reflect on what they had done that week and as a time to relax. Shabbat is also important now. The world needs Shabbat because it brings everyone together. People all around the world take a break to rest, reflect, and take a break. Shabbat is also important to me. It is a time when I can take a break from all of the struggles of life. People think that being a kid is easy, but it's not. As a kid, there's the stress of school, friends, activities, and more. Even when kids do activities for fun, they are expected to use most of their free time to work on it. There's barely any time to relax. Shabbat is a time where I can take a step back from all the stress, reflect on the work I did, and just relax. Shabbat is a time, when I relax, I might be watching TV, making music, reading a book, hanging out with friends and family, and more. Most of the time, my family eats a meal together on Shabbat, and we can talk about everything that has happened. To sum it all up, everybody needs Shabbat and rest, because if you don't rest, then you will never be able to enjoy what you were working on. My version of the modern Mishkan is helping to stop climate change, because even though no one person can stop it, if everybody works together to help, then eventually we can reach our goal. While there are many big problems in the world right now, including the COVID pandemic, to me, climate change is one of the most important, because it is threatening existence as we know it. One way I'm contributing to this goal is by being vegetarian. Vegetarianism helps to stop climate change by decreasing the mass amount of production of animals, which saves resources and lowers methane emissions. If everybody contributes in their own way, then we can reach our goal of stopping climate change, just like the Israelites reached their goal of building the Mikdash. If we do this, there will be more rules to help the need of the many over the gain of the few. People would also understand the seriousness of the situation, and they will understand that stopping this is the best thing to do. If this happens, we will be one step closer to Tikkun Olam, which means to heal a broken world. Becoming a bat mitzvah means that I am now an adult in the Jewish community. To me, this means that I will be able to practice more Jewish traditions, like fasting on Yom Kippur. I plan on celebrating the Jewish holidays, going to synagogue, and being an active member of the Jewish community. I will also try to help and improve my community. Another part of Judaism is Israel. As I become a bat mitzvah, I hope to one day go to Israel. Israel has so many amazing Jewish sites and places. I would like to go there and experience the Jewish culture. For my mitzvah project, I went to the Atlanta Children's Shelter. There are approximately 3,000 homeless children in Atlanta. The Atlanta Children's Shelter gives some of these kids free daycare and education and helps to get their parents back on their feet by helping them find jobs and housing. They help these families become self-sufficient. My two friends, Sarah and Ari, helped me make gift bags for the children. The bags had toys, stuffed animals, and stickers, and more. It was amazing to see the joy on their faces when I handed them the bags. I also spent half a day playing, dancing, reading to, and having fun with the kids. This relates to my Torah portion because playing with and giving kids gifts is a form of tzedakah, and my Torah portion discusses the importance of tzedakah. I've come so far in my journey of becoming a Jewish adult, but I did not do it on my own. Thank you to my tutor, Joanne, for helping me learn all of my Torah. I do not know if I could have done it without you. Thank you, Rabbi Rachel, Rabbi Max, Rabbi Spike, and to Cantor Desnick for helping me along the way. I'm so grateful. Thank you to Grandpa. I know I don't get to see you often, but when I do, it is so amazing and special. When I see you, you always make me laugh, and all of your stories are so cool and interesting. I love you so much. Thank you to Aunt Beth and Uncle Stu. Going to your house for Puff-Up games is one of the biggest highlights of my year. I love you both a lot. And to Matthew, hanging out with you is so much fun. I love you so much. Thank you, Aunt Jenny and Uncle Howie. Whenever I see you both, I am so happy. When I am able to fly out to your house, I have such a great time. Aunt Jenny, going shopping with you is so much fun, and I hope that we will be able to do it again soon. I love you both very much. Thank you to Aunt Andrea and Uncle Jason. Aunt Andrea, we always do such fun things together, like when you help paint my nails. Uncle Jason, I love playing games with you, like when we play Risk. I love both of you so much. And to Jonah, I love hanging out with you and playing games together. I love you so much. Thank you to Aunt Eileen and Uncle Mark. When I get to see you, it is great, and I love being with you. You guys are so great. I love you so much. You're amazing. And thank you to all of my other relatives. Even if I didn't mention you by name, each of you has helped me so much and has helped make me who I am. I love you so very much. Thank you to my brother, Daniel. Whenever we hang out, I have such fun. I love when we play video games, board games, and hide and seek. You are such an amazing brother. I love you so much. Thank you to my dad. Whenever, every day, when you send me a funny gift and a text to have a great day, it makes my day. You also make the best dad jokes. I love when we play board games together at dinner and watch TV. The shows you recommend always end up being amazing, despite what I think before watching them. I love you so much. Thank you to my mom. You are so amazing and inspiring. You are always doing such great things to help people. One of the many examples of this is when you started AIAS. I love hanging out with you. You do so much for me, and I'm so grateful. You are the best mom ever. I love you so much. Thank you to all of my friends and family for always being there for me. I am so grateful for all of you. Lastly, thank you to everyone who could make it to the bat mitzvah in person, considering the current pandemic, and thank you to everyone who can make it virtually. COVID has made me have 3 bat mitzvah dates and made me delay my bat mitzvah twice. My original date was over a year ago. For that reason, I'm especially thankful that I'm finally able to celebrate with you all today, whether joining on Zoom or in person or Facebook Live. Thank you so much for coming. Shabbat Shalom.
We conclude the Torah service with Eitz Chaim found on page 36. Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha me'ushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. So now, Sarah, you are going to read for us from a different part of our sacred scriptures, from a different part of the holy stories that we tell amongst our people. This is the Haftarah. This is not often read, except in usually these occasions or in a class. And it so happens that your Haftarah from the book of Kings has to do very similarly with making our prayer space beautiful, with filling it with love, with shiny objects, with things that bring smiles to our faces and joy to our heart. And that is simply what you do every day. And so as you read and chant this Haftarah, beginning with the blessing, remember that you always bring that joy to every space that you are in.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzei v'dibrechem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nvieh ha'emet v'tzedek. Bechikar hayarden yitzakam hamelech b'ma'aveh ha'adamah ben Sukkot uvein sartan va'anach shelamo et kol hakelim Merov meod meod lo nechkar mishkal hanechoshet vaya shalamo et kol hakelim asher beit Adonai Beit Mizbach Hazahav Vet HaShulchan Asher Alav Lechem Hapanim Zahav Vet HaMenorot Chamesh Miyamim Vechamesh Misemol Lifnei Hadavir Zahav Sagur Vehaperet Vehanerot Vehamelech HaChaim Zahav Vehasipot Vehamzomrot Vehamizarakot Vehakapot Vehamachtot Zahav Sagur Vehapotot Ledaletot Chabayit Habnimin Lekodesh HaKodashim Ledaletei Habayit Lachachozahav.
Page 37, the after blessing.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Zor Kol HaKolamim Tzaddik Bechol HaDorot HaEl HaNe'eman HaOmer Ve'oseh HaMedaber Umkayeh Shechol Devarav Emet Vatzedek Al HaTorah Ve'al HaAvodah Ve'al HaNevi'im Ve'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh Shenetata Lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likadusha Ve'limenucha Lechavod Ultifaret Al HaKol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Modim Lach Umevarchim Otah Yitbarach Shimecha Befi Kol Chai Tamid Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo
Mechadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Sarah, beautifully done.
Thanks.
So proud of you. So Rabbi Max and I have said this before, but it's worth repeating. Of all the things we get to do as rabbis here at Temple Emanu-El, including ruckus Friday night services and high holidays and weddings, what our most favorite thing to do is what we've been doing together for the past, well, geez, usually I say many months, but in this case, it's more than that. And that is getting to know you at a very deep level and studying what's called Torah Lishma, which means study for the sake of higher thought, higher thinking. Sarah, our families are close. We have real friendships in our family. We keep on mimicking each other in terms of our schools that we're going to. Hopefully this is the final one. And I've had a chance over the last 6 years to really see you grow up, to really see you develop. You have always had, as long as I've known you, a real sense of individuality, an individual style, and individual thinking. And that is such a gift, to be able to see how the world works and the angles around you, and still have your presence of mind to know where your feet are, to know where your heart is, to know what words are coming out of your mouth. And I see you as you navigate all the things that a teen needs to navigate. I see you with really close friendships. And those friendships are a weave which supports you and nourishes you and keeps you warm. So putting those together, being part of a community, being part of a group, but also having your individuality is really the best of both worlds. Figuring out the balance of how that works is something that you'll continue to work on, as we all do. Forever in my mind will be seared last Sunday, where we had our youth group event at our house in our backyard, led by Rabbi Max and Rabbi Rachel. And it was a hot day, and after a good amount of running around, you led a pack of teenagers to jump into the lake, fully clothed. And I love that. And what I hope for you is as you go through these next years and decades that you hang on to all of that. Your individuality, your sense of community, your sense of fun and spontaneity, and with that, leadership. Sometimes leadership to jump in a lake, and sometimes leadership, as it is part of your family tradition at this point, to stand up for what's right even when it's really hard, to stand up against hate even when you see it all around you, to stand up for those who don't have a voice, and to stand up for yourself and the people that you love. So it is my sincere blessing that you continue on this path. Be you, but more of you, a bigger you. And let's see where you take us. We need it. Rabbi Max?
With all of your passion for climate change and fighting hate, and seeing the world truly as it is, as you grow into it, it would be reasonable to believe that you've become jaded, maybe cynical to what's out there in the world. But maybe there's a little bit of that, but I don't see it. At least I don't see it when we've interacted, when I've seen you, is that even though the world might need our help desperately in so many different places, I still see you looking at everyone with such compassion, with so much love and understanding and forgiveness and generosity, that you bring that urgency to every matter, but you also have that heart that helps you to see the humanity inside of each person and to see what people are really about. And that takes loyalty. That takes courage and bravery. And that is all you. That is everything that you've been for so many years growing into the young woman that you are now. And I can only pray that you continue to strengthen those amazing qualities within you as you become our leader, maybe in lakes, but hopefully in all of those movements and all of those passions that you carry with you forever. So it's our pleasure to give you now the most sacred blessing in our tradition, the priestly benediction.
Please rise, everyone.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
May God's countenance shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lach shalom.
May God's face turn towards you, Sarah, and grant you the greatest gift of all, what you're feeling right now. Feet on the ground, Torahs to your back, Ner Tamid above you, surrounded by friends and family and tradition, all doors open, your whole life ahead of you. A sense of wholeness, completeness, and peace. And we say,
Amen.
Amen. We can all be seated unless you are Sarah's mom and dad, and then you're going to come on up and say some nice words about her.
I'm not hiding, I'm fighting my speech. Okay, me first. Sarah, my little girl, not so little anymore. It is difficult to believe we're up here celebrating your bat mitzvah, and not just because we had to reschedule it 3 times, but because you're not that little girl scaring every parent at the playground with your monkey bar tricks and antics. I always tell you that one of the most enduring memories I have of you is of you running through the carpool line at Davis, your hair flying in the breeze, backpack on your back as all the teachers shouted, "No running, Sarah," but run you did, blazing your own path as you always do. And I realize this may not be the best story to tell about how you didn't listen to the teachers, but in that moment, in my memory, which, by the way, is you charging ahead in slow motion with this great musical soundtrack with every teacher yelling at you, you were your true self, a free spirit charging into the future. The words I've heard most frequently used to describe you are fierce, smart, and determined. These qualities are everything you will need to succeed in life. It doesn't hurt that you have a very strong moral compass and that you're empathetic and kind as well. You are a warrior for what is fair and right in your world. and you have always stood up for those who are underdogs. We still have the note you wrote yourself when you were 9 and you had to write a goal for your summer. It simply read, "Make the shy girls in the cabin confident." You are also hilarious, and you always keep us laughing. When you told me as a little girl that you were going to go and live in the woods instead of go to college, and that you try to make it back for important events like funerals, I knew you were a special kind of kid. My wish for you as you become an adult is that you maintain your creativity and the belief that you can do anything you put your mind to. That you hold on to that independent spirit that you have, that you maintain that unique sense of who you are and your place in the world. I am so proud of you, of the witty, funny, kind, and loving person you are. I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you, or rather, what you hold for the future. I love you.
Sarah, I cannot begin to explain how proud of you I am. Proud of how you've handled all of the changes related to your bat mitzvah date, how and where we celebrate, and who was able to attend in person and via Zoom. I'm proud of how you've handled an extra year of practicing Hebrew, which I know you have thoroughly enjoyed. And more importantly, I'm so proud of who you are as a person. You and I had a deal when you were little. Okay. That you wouldn't grow up. All right, give me a second. Well, I was a little upset that you broke that promise. I'm so happy that you did. Because now I get to see the woman that you are becoming. You are kind, smart, caring, funny, and empathetic, with a rock-solid set of values and ethics. When you were about 6, before you started attending Camp Tranquility, you pulled me aside and told me that you figured out what you wanted to do over the summer. You told me that you wanted to go to danger camp. You described it as a kind of camp where you could jump off of buildings and do other dangerous things. Thankfully for Mom and I, this type of camp doesn't exist. I know because I had to check. This highlights for me the other trait that best describes you. You are fearless. Since you were very young, we knew that you had this superpower. Fearless as you jumped off of anything that was ridiculously high. Fearless as you convinced me to ski down the Black Diamond ski slopes. Fearless in your approach to switching schools, and fearless in your defense of the less fortunate. Fearless in your relentless fight for what's right. Fearless in your ability to lead and be independent and not follow. As you continue to chart your path forward into adulthood, please never lose these qualities that make you who you are. There is nothing that you can't accomplish. I truly believe that you could change the world. And despite our agreement when you were little, I'm okay with you growing up. Because I can't wait to see how you use your superpowers to change the world. I love you.
And hanging on to that beautiful emotion, let's all just stand. We have Emanu on page 40. Daniel, will you come on up? And then Daniel and Sarah, will you lead your parents up to the ark? And then together you'll open the ark. So you're all going to turn around. There you go, right up the stairs. Page 40. Open the ark, Daniel. There you go.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד.
Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
Okay, family, we'll close the ark. I'll ask everyone to be seated. Men as family to the bema, please. Friends, in a moment we're going to recite the Mourner's Kaddish, which you'll find on page 41. Mourner's Kaddish is the prayer that we say for our beloved who have passed. And in doing so, in saying their names, we give them what's called an aliyat nefesh, an ascent of soul. Sarah, Rabbi Max talked about the generations who are here and smiling, as we believe, because of what you are doing and who you are and what you're leading us into. Your family on this particular day recalls Barbara Menace and Jean Dembo, Cyril Dembo and Marcia Menace, Corin Resnick, Susan and Arnold Novick, Bill Kane, Dave and Ann Posner, Nat and Debbie Menace. If you, either in the sanctuary or from your homes, are in the Shloshim period of mourning, the first 30 days after a loved one's passing, we invite you to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, a loved one's passing, we ask you to rise. Please remain standing. If you are commemorating the yard site, the death anniversary of a loved one's passing this Shabbat, we invite you to rise. And if it is your custom to rise either in solidarity or for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we ask you to rise now. Mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 41. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash me Rabbah ve'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich machutei b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael b'galav v'zman kari v'imru amen. Hehe shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei omaya v'yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit roman v'yit naseh Vita dar, vita la, vita la, shmedu kucha, barichu, la ela, min kol birchata v'shirata, tush birchata v'nechamata, dami ram be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim alenu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. O say shalom b'imru mav, huya aseh shalom, alenu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen.
Oh, say shalom b'imrumav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael.
Okay, Menace family, will you shuffle to your left? Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. There you're going to find the Kiddush cups. Will you please pick up the Kiddush cups? And in doing so, we help sanctify the day and our sacred community within this space.
That's for you. The big one's for you.
Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Shabbat shalom.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
All right, we take a sip. For those of you with kazoos, you can get them ready. You can get them ready. We're going to break into a raucous rendition of Simon Tov Mazel Tov, and you can kazoo away as you like. Here we go.
Simon Tov Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov, Simon Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simon Tov.
For everyone who is on Zoom, please stick around so that the family can say hello and Shabbat Shalom, and everyone, there's a video montage going on in just a moment.
Mazel tov.